What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Week 2 edition of the Dolphins Dive Bar. Your favorite, probably not, but most budget friendly, low budget friendly YouTube review of Dolphin games. Unfortunately, once again, black hat, upside down flag, which means our Dolphins lost. Miami falls to New England by a final score of 33 to 27. Dolphins dropped to 0-2 on the young season. Coaches are on hot seats. People are jumping ship. There's $53 million a year quarterback that's catching a lot of flack. It's a bleep hole in only week 2, it seems, right? But no, man, we're not all that doom and gloom, are we? It's Tua's first career loss to the New England Patriots and New England's first win on Miami soil since 2019. So, nothing lasts forever, right? And those things change. Dolphins are in that all white. It's the first home game of the season. They got that white outlook going. Personally, I'm not a fan of the all white uniform. I just, I like color. I like teal. I like the accents. At least give me the teal socks. Give me something. I mean, I don't mind the white pants and white jersey combo. Just give me some more teal accents. I mean, they took away teal face masks. They took away teal piping on the sleeve. It's just like, I don't know. It's Miami, man. It's color. Give me something, right? We're having a glass of wine with today's game while we talk. So, salute to you. Listen, it was a fun football game. Like, it wasn't fundamentally sound because everybody sucked. I mean, like, in the aspect of, like, dude, Miami had 10 penalties for, like, 65 yards, and New England had, like, 12 penalties for 75. So it was just an undisciplined flag fest. Miami, the same mistakes keep rearing their ugly head. Mike McDaniel cannot get a play out in time to save his life. They're still burning timeouts. They burnt the timeout like after a penalty, because they couldn't get the play call in time. It's happened week after week for like the last 4 years. It's like at some point you just gotta like give up and say, okay, this is who this guy is. He's so indecisive, in getting a play call off in time. It's just, dude, it drives you nuts. It's the same mistakes week after week after week that they commit. But still, like with the penalties, I mean, Miami gets what a whole. That's a stupid call, man. Like that holding, the defensive holding penalty. It's only a 5-yard penalty, but you get an automatic first down. I mean, the Dolphins were dealing with like a 2nd and 25, is what their defense was dealing with, because New England, with their young and inexperienced and undisciplined selves, they kept going back and back, holding and this and that, and then all of a sudden the Dolphins, it's just like, and even the announcers were like, well, I didn't even see much there. Like maybe he, holding on or a slight tug for like a minute, a millisecond, and then they throw a flag. It's only 5 yards, but still, it's a fresh cut of downs, which makes it harder for a defense that already can't get off the field, and now they got to start, over again, basically, right? But the game was exciting, man. Like, oh god, they were so close. They were so close. I mean, it felt like the season opener against Washington back when they were still the Skins, like maybe I don't even know, 8+ years ago, when I was at that game actually, when Jarvis Landry returns that punt in the season opener, and that winds up being Miami's winning score. But unfortunately, it's like the guy's still celebrating, just get enough time to put the oxygen mask on or whatever, and then boom, New England's running one back, right? Like a 90-yarder after you just did like a 70 some odd yarder. But hey, and then the last drive when Achan, God man, we thought he scored that touchdown, and he steps out of bounds at the end there. Dude, we'll talk about Achan later because he is so good. Like he's the one on offense right now that like he gets it. Defense, man. Talking about the defense. The defense was like barely serviceable that game. I mean, the defensive line. Granted, they did get 3 sacks. Or I'm sorry, they got two. There was 3 sacks all days. I think Jordan Brooks got a sack, but also Chubb gets his second of the season, and then Chop Robinson comes in and gets one. And I had to check his injury status because he got rolled up later in the game, and I was like, dude, come on, man, we can't take any more injuries. But other than that, the defensive line is just not penetrating enough on a consistent enough basis. Like they're getting sacks. Like they had a couple last week, they had a couple this week, but they're not, or they had one last week and a couple this week, but they're not getting to the ball or to the quarterback consistently enough to the point where it can alleviate the pressure off of that secondary that's playing. I mean, they started the season in depth, and now the depth getting hurt, and now you got the depth of the depth out there playing and starting, and these guys, try to make it easier on them, man. Do some, do whatever. Like Dolphins are missing Calais Campbell right now because like they can't stop the run. I mean, Stevenson was just gashing them. I mean, for just up the middle, like not even going around the sides, not even using speed on you. Just right between the tackles. Attacking the A gap, attacking the B gap, and just murdering you for yards, right? And Stevenson goes 11 carries for only 54 yards, right? But then he also has 5 catches for 88. So he just gashes you the whole game, and with that line not being able to get pressure, so, I take it back. They do get pressure not on a consistent basis, but the pressures that they do get, I mean, Drake May, 2 weeks in a row, you take two quarterbacks that were, here career wise, and you make them look elevated up to here. Drake May was like 19 for 13, 200 some odd yards. And then he also runs the ball. He has 10 runs for 31, all these scrambles. And it drives you crazy because, dude, in the modern NFL, that's what you need to do. You need to extend plays. Tua doesn't extend plays. He can't like that. They won't even allow him, I don't think. That's why you saw, like, at the end of the game on third down, he just runs out of bounds. Like, when you can't extend plays and you can't just pick up that first on the feet, where they don't even like respect you enough to think that you're gonna do it because they know your history. It's like, man, that's a tool that in the modern NFL, every quarterback needs the ability to just be able to leg out those yards, and injury history be damned. Like we got a guy that just is either can't do it or they're just unwilling to let him do it because we all know what happens if he doesn't get out of bounds or he gets hit. I mean, that's half a season lost for one guy, right? Secondary get burnt. I mean, Jones got burnt on one pass, ridiculous. Matt Collins got a nice little touchdown catch. Booty got a nice little touchdown catch. The only thing, I mean, they come out strong once again. 2 touchdowns on their 2 possessions, their first 2 possessions of the game. Miami can't make a defensive stop for nothing. And the only thing kept Miami in the game because it was a 12-0 lead is because Miami's own, the U zone, Andy Borregales, I mean, guy misses 2 extra points, right? But even though they were booty, I won't poo-poo on the defense all that much. The offense had its issues too. Because the defense did make some stops now. I mean, they fought like it took to like the second half. At the end of the first half, the Patriots like kneeled. But it took them to the second half to actually make them punt. And I mean, Dolphins, they get like one punt return. Washington gets one punt return. He takes it to the house. Special teams is good for Miami. The special teams of like running of return part is pretty decent, but you don't get to see it. The sample size is so small, right? But I digress. The offense, Tua Tagovailoa, he started shaky, threw the interception that thankfully was brought back because of a penalty. Freaking fans booing him, the whole nine. He started the game shaky, but he was not the reason why the Dolphins lost completely. He still made his mistakes at the end, believe you me. But, he was finally able to find space around the field. I mean, he threw up a lame duck that the defender just did not play well. And Tyreek was able to get like a 40-plus yard reception, his first since the first game against Jacksonville last season. But, Tua, he did have the overthrows. He overthrew Hill, who was wide open, where they like it in that soft spot of the zone, that those timing routes. He did overthrow. He did leave Waddle, just hanging out to dry. Like we all know, Waddle is, he's not a weak body, but he's prone to getting hurt. He's prone to getting banged up in a game, and then you just put the ball up high on him to where he just as soon as he catches it, just blindsided and just creamed in the back. I mean, that's like a constant. I mean, like you got a guy that gets hurt during games, you got to protect him, and just make a better throw. And I don't know, Tua, like I said, he didn't suck though. Like he goes 26 for 32 for 315, two touchdowns in the pick. Gets, sacked a few times because that offensive line is a problem. I mean, you got look, what, two rookies on the line, and it's just all depth. And I mean, at one point, I think the dude's name was Williams, just completely bypassed all like three guys that were just standing in place to get the sack onto. I think it was the fourth down or the fourth down sack to end the game. But that line, Tua looks shaky back there because he's worried that they're just his blind side's not going to be protected for long. That's really missing Teron Armstead right there. But he was able to open up the field. He did hit some guys in stride. I mean, but most of the game plan really it seems to be is just like feed it to Achan and just let him cook. Throw it to him behind the line, throw it to him in the screen, throw it to him in the flat, like whatever. Just get him the ball and let him cook. That seems to be the game plan because like the game started off. I mean, for the entire first quarter, I think only one other receiver got a catch in the first quarter. It was all Achan between running and catching the short passes. Achan, 11 carries for only 30 yards, but he also gets eight catches for 19, or I'm sorry, eight catches for 92 and a touchdown. And he almost had two touchdowns, if it wasn't for his foot stepping out of bounds at oh my God. It was like the Dolphins versus Pittsburgh game when Pittsburgh thought that they had returned like that whole bobble back pass at the end of the game. And, but I think it was Antonio Brown or whatever, old dude just stepped out in the snow. That's what happened to Achan. I mean, we were just like mere, inches away from possibly winning that football game, man. The last two drives, dude, enough to drive you crazy. Like, you had, Julian Hill wide open in the flat, got his hand up, trying to hail the damn taxi cab. I mean, he's like 8 feet away from Tua. Tua not even bothered looking. Like, I think he said he was just trying to make a play. Dude, like, where you were throwing it, you had two receivers that were bunched up, like, stacked on each other like these helmets, and they were blanketed by defenders, and you're trying to throw it to one of those guys, and the defender's right there. Once again, Tua can't see another shade of blue, and winds up throwing the pick when you got a guy in the flat, wide open, who is running. It's not like he was, 2 yards beyond the line just standing there, and they would have had to catch the ball and then gain speed. No, he already had momentum. You just hit him in the flat, and it's a easy first down, which would have kept the drive going. But, he got locked on to his guy. The X-Men thing. I saw it was a mix of both. He would come off that first read. Sometimes he'd look confident. You'd see his face here, there, and there, make a decision. But then sometimes it was, man, he's off his first read, or he's just sticking to that read, and it's like, oh, no, 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 please get open, please get open. And then the final drive of the game, I mean, that was just hell, dude. Like, penalties, and just can't get the play off, and Tua running out of bounds on third down, and then, just the offensive line completely forgetting to block, letting this guy get sacked for the fifth time, just blindsided, ends the thing. They lose the game. The Patriots get the ball with like 32 seconds left. Dolphins don't got no timeouts. So, just, I guess a team with a new coach, a young team trying to figure it out. And, they come in here, and with your star-studded roster of almost $100 million between, three of the premier positions, QB and the two receivers, this is what you're putting up. You can't do enough on offense. You barely, you force two punts all day on defense. You're letting them score at will. You still haven't forced a turnover. I mean, I just don't know what to say. And what the hell's going on with Ali? Gordon, dog, one carry for 8 yards. And this guy's supposed to be a part of the package, part of the team. He earned the playing time, and then you give him the ball twice. He gets one reception, one carry. Like I know you want Achan in there to do what he can do, and you give Malik Washington a little burn. But dude, like use the personnel that you have, man. Like guys can make plays if you give them the opportunity. You're not giving the guys the opportunity to make the damn plays, man. Like run the kid, especially while Jalen Rice hurt. Like this is a great problem to have. You got a bunch of good running backs on this team. Feed them all. So next game coming up, it's that Thursday game. Miami, first time in prime time. It'll be their basically the next 2 weeks. The Dolphins are in prime time. You know, they get a Thursday night and they get a Monday night. But this Thursday, they're going up to Buffalo. Got to play the Bills, the guys that are just echelons, levels above you in talent, in coaching, and could be an ugly game. I don't think it'll be. For some reason, I think that Miami will get the upset. It's a short week. They're angry. They're hungry for a win. They want to prove and show that they can, that they don't suck and that they can hang with the big dogs. And it's not going to be freezing cold, so it's like, why not? Why can't they go in there and sneak one out? And the thing that makes me think that that's not going to happen is, Josh Allen and those boys. Like, Josh Allen didn't have to do nothing his game. Like, they just ran the ball down the Jets' throats. And if they ran the ball down their throats, like, what do you think they're going to do to the Dolphins, man, who already can't stop the run, and then it's got a secondary that, doesn't swarm to the ball and is not physical. Josh Allen's going to run some people over. And Cook's going to potentially just gash us, for like $160. But I don't know. I feel the upset coming. What say you, right? But anyway, we're about to finish this glass of the vino. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to finish this video. Once again, Dolphins lose to the New England Patriots. Final score, 33-27. Miami's 0-2 on the young season. The seats are hot for everybody. Everybody wants heads. And, hey, that's, a team that is, good in September is not being good in September. And it makes people upset and worried and mad. Wait all this time, and this team doesn't look like a complete, incompetent football team. But it's early, they don't play a lot in the preseason. They don't practice hard, so they need time to get their wits about them. So it needs to come sooner rather than later, but I think it'll happen. But anyway, thank you for joining me on the Week 2 edition of the Dolphins Dive Bar. We'll get with you later. Hey, get home safe.